Good day, everyone. This is Dr. János Förster from the Center of Development Research of the University of Bonn. I have the pleasure of briefly outlining what governance is and how that relates to the bioeconomy. And without further ado, governance is what governments do and what governmental actors do. This is the more top-down perspective of governing by public governmental bodies, authorities, through policies and legislation which are complied to or not. More of a structural view, though, our linear view, linked to what we know as top-down policy making and implementation. For others, governance is what governments do, but also much more, while the real policy implementers are located on ground level. This is also where societal actors pool their interests, articulate them, and thus influence governmental actions, policies, or the like. Or more a genteel view, informal rules at institutions, social learning processes in a more collaborative, bottom-up perspective on governance. For again others, governance is rather the totality of public and private actors, institutions, mechanisms and processes. All of them interact with and influence each other mutually, while they interact with the dimensions of bioeconomy. As such, the bioeconomy is a cross-cutter, cutting across sectors and policy fields, different levels of society, but mostly interrelated fields of policy and governance. So it's more integrated perspective on bioeconomy governance as collaborative governance for the green heart of circular economy, the bioeconomy, and to keep them within planetary boundaries. But for this session, what might fit is a working definition of governance as the attempt to coordinate societal, social, political and economic action, to coordinate collective behavioral patterns, to make people work together, to initiate and adapt, to navigate bioeconomic trends and dynamics, while trying to avoid negative feedback loops on ourselves on this giant ecosystem called Earth. So this steering attempt often comes in a more concrete form of packages of policies, legislation and regulation in order to enable or constrain certain bioeconomic developments and innovations. Enabling governance, we can think of maybe incentives, subsidies, administrative support, but also public and private research funding. So developments where the government really says, yes, I want you to do this, or even more of it. In a constraining form, policy comes into play when governments want to prevent or inhibit something, of course. For example, when a development negatively impacts the achievement of global SDG targets and national adaptation plans or the like, so to keep bioeconomic developments within certain sustainability performances. Through steering impulses from enabling governance and constraining governance, it is thus attempted to coordinate socio-economic and socio-ecological impacts to stay within certain sustainability boundaries. This admittedly is a rather ideal type situation for governance. However, for evidence-based policy and governance, which is more needed than ever these days, information and thus empirical data is needed in order to enable governmental actors to determine when to act, how to do so, and for which purpose. And with this, I have created a nice bridge to the scientific tools used to measure sustainability performance in the bioeconomy, which were subject of the pre-recorded conference videos and of this following session with all of you. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for your attention.